Hey, welcome inside our Los Angeles studio. This is NBA Today on YouTube, the extra bits that we didn't get to in the 3 o'clock hour on ESPN. He is the one and only Kendrick Perkins. He is Brian Windhorst. I'm Malika Andrews. The playoffs are around the corner.
Yeah.
Like it or not, here they come. Kendrick Perkins, Brian Windhorst had a list this morning up on ESPN.com.
You did a Wendy watch list?
Something like that.
Watch list. This isn't Big Perk's big list. This is Wendy's list.
That's right. It's mine.
But
not yours.
I am curious your thoughts on who the players are that are under the most pressure, that have the most to gain from this year's postseason.
Oh, well, one comes to mind. Oh, Jason Tatum, Deuce Dad, okay? And look, when you talk about being put in position in the organization, doing everything in their power to make sure they surround you with the pieces to go and complete the mission, I don't know what other team in the league has done a better job than the Boston Celtics for us putting the pieces around Jason Tatum. Like, you trade away Marcus Smart, who's your former Defensive Player of the Year, the heart and soul of your team, okay? You bring in Kristaps Porzingis. You bring in Jrue Holiday. What else do you need? Like, we're literally saying you have the best starting five in basketball outside of the defending champs. So when I look at Jason Tatum, the time is now, and I understand he had his career, since he came into the league as a rookie, he's won at a high level. Conference finals, NBA finals. But now it's time for him to complete the mission. And he has zero excuses on why he shouldn't. And if he does complete the mission, then it X a lot of things out. We could change the narrative about Jason Tatum.
I would agree with that. I think he's almost number one on that list.
That's
he
refreshing.
is actually number one. I have it up right here.
Yeah.
He is number one on the list.
Especially since he's going to get a $300 million contract this summer.
First ever, right?
And like, that's great for him, and he's earned that without question. But if he loses again in the playoffs and then takes that $300 million, he's going to get some flack for that. He's going to enjoy the money, and he's earned it, but he's going to get some flack for that. All right, now I want to talk about Nikola Jokic for a second.
Oh.
Now, this is about who can gain. Now, Jokic has proven everything. He has nothing left to prove. He's got his contract. It's fine. But he's on the verge of something really special here. I think he's going to win his third MVP, okay?
I agree.
So do I.
He's got a chance to go back-to-back and potentially win another Finals MVP. Now, we're talking about a list, guys. 3 MVPs, 2 titles, 2 Finals MVPs. He could do all of that by June.
I like where you're going.
Now we're talking about the single-hand club. We're talking about LeBron, Jordan, Magic, Kareem, Bird. That's it. Now, Bill Russell.
So he would make it a double-hand club.
Yes, he's the single-hand club. Now, I will say this, little asterisk. Bill Russell, they didn't have the the Finals MVP is named after him. He would have been on that too.
Right.
They didn't have it back then. So we're talking about the uber elite, the elite of the elite. Jokic could join that club now. Not at the end of his career. He could join that club now. And so what I say, someone's got the most to gain. Somebody emerging from this season, legitimately being able to be called one of the greatest ever. You don't hear that every year. It's right there for Jokic if he can duplicate what he did last year.
So Jokic potentially has something, because it is framed here as the 20 players with the most to gain or the most to lose this season. Nikola Jokic being one that stands to gain something. Where does Kevin Durant fall in all of this, Brian?
This is an extremely nuanced conversation because you know how I feel, Perk. I don't feel Kevin Durant owes anybody anything. Anybody who tries to talk about that he was riding in the back of the bus, they don't win the 2017 title without Kevin Durant. I don't care what anybody says. No one's going to talk me out of that. 2018, after Kyrie had managed a trade, that's a different story. 2017, the Cavs were awesome. They were probably better than 2016. Durant carried them to that title. Having said that, since he's left Golden State, where he did have a superior team, it has not gone well. It did not go well in Brooklyn. And it's not been the greatest season thus far in Phoenix. And if they have an early exit from the playoffs, it is a little bit complicated to talk about what happens here. Durant making a run, I can't see them winning the title this year. But if Durant were able to win another title, it would be wonderful for him. I don't think he needs it. I don't think anybody should say anything about how he has to have it to improve anything. But if he can get another one, it would be very meaningful to him. And you know how I know it's meaningful to him, Perk? He doesn't ask for the trade to Phoenix unless he knows how important that is.
Oh, he needs it. He needs it. He needs it. Look, you don't leave Steph Curry and then go on the journey that you went on, teaming up with Kyrie Irving and leaving the opportunity of actually winning probably 2 more finals MVPs along with 2 more championships. Look, Bron figured it out. He had to leave Miami to actually get verified when he won his championship in Cleveland, right? Think about this for a second. About 2 months ago, Kevin Durant was on his own podcast, I believe it was, with his guy Rich, right? And he said he should be mentioned in the GOAT conversation. Well, in order to be mentioned in the GOAT conversation, you actually have to do GOAT-like things. Actually be a leader on a team to win a championship. Not going to a situation that was already the foundation, the dirt was already laid.
But
in
isn't
the
that
concrete.
foundation not really there anymore that he joined? Because by joining them, Devin Booker was the only player that.
No. I'm talking about when he joined Golden State.
Oh, in Golden State.
Yeah. So think about this. Kobe Bryant, right? When did he take that leap? After Shaq left. Okay, he won one with Paul Gasol, then won another one with Paul Gasol. Now all of a sudden we like, oh yeah, Kobe in that GOAT conversation. If KD wants to be in that conversation like he said he should, then he got to go out there and handle business.
There's a couple of more players that I want to get your thoughts on this list, because it's interesting to think about who has the most to gain as well from this postseason. Who else were you looking at?
Hold on, before you go, I actually I got to go look at this list, Wendy, because it's sparking conversation.
It's a good list.
Yeah,
That's what we aim for here at ESPN.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone else that has something to gain, though, Mr. Windhorst.
Well, on a smaller scale than gigantic legacy, which we were talking about here, I want to pay attention to a guy like Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley in Cleveland was a guy that when they traded for Donovan Mitchell, they assumed that they'd be giving him a max contract this summer. He and Donovan would be their sort of side-by-side all-stars. He has had an injury-plagued season, first with knee surgery, then recently with an ankle injury. And the Cavs have just not done the greatest with him on the court this year. He's still an excellent defensive player. He has a chance to be on the all-defensive team for a second consecutive year. But if he's going to expect a max contract offer in July, he has got to have a better playoff showing than he did last year. He was the first time in the playoffs last year. The Cavs were a higher seed that lost. They're going to probably, for sure, but they're going to probably be the higher seed again. Evan Mobley needs to have a strong postseason to just make sure the Cavs have no doubts about giving him that max contract.
Let me ask you this, Wendy. When you talk about Evan Mobley, do you believe that he could be a 20-10 guy in the league? Like, that's what I know his expectations were coming out of USC. But do you believe, Malika, that he could be a 20-10 guy in this league?
I think he's got the talent to do almost anything. I think he's got the talent to be a Kevin Garnett type of player. He ain't there, obviously, but his development offensively has been a disappointment.
The fact that you had to think about that is a problem for me in today's game.
Because if you're asking for a max contract.
No, but what I'm saying is this is not like in the old school in 2003 or 2005 where the game was played boxes and elbows. Like, if you got talent, you should be able to get 20-10 in your off night, in your sleep, because that's how easy it is to do what you got to do. So when I look at Evan Mobley, it's about finding his niche. I think he has to find his identity as a player. Right. Like, who he's going to be. Is he going to be this great shot blocker? Is he going to be a guy that could put the ball on the floor and dance with the rock a little bit? Like, or is he going to be a guy like a Giannis that could punish and snatch the screws out the rim and dominate in the paint? I mean, he's 7 foot. He runs the floor like a damn deer. Like, he's athletic as hell. He has the potential to go out there and guard the perimeter and block shots to the level of Victor Wembanyama. But we done seen him do it and have flashes of it. So, you know, he just got to find himself, find out who he want to be as a person.
So since we're in the Eastern Conference, I want to end on one that I think Kendrick Perkins is going to enjoy here.
Oh, yeah, bring it over.
Let's go to New York.
Oh.
And let's go to Jalen Brunson. Where does he fall here, Brian?
So Jalen Brunson has obviously massively overachieved what we thought he was going to be when he came into the league. And even people who thought the $100 million contract that he got from the Knicks was the Mavericks thought that was a push and a stretch, and they had him for 4 years.
Right.
So now he comes in and he is clearly a leader. But can he be the type of guy who can make a difference in a playoff series? A lot of people believe that he is. Some people believe that he's not. I'm not sure that the Knicks are going to have their full team when they get there, and they're still hunting for that superstar to come with them. But they made upgrades to their roster during this season. They got Anunoby. They went out and got Bogdanovich and got Alec Burks. They are trying to hold their assets for a big player, but also make a run, and that's going to be on Jalen's shoulders. We've seen him do it in the regular season.
Look, if anyone is questioning whether or not Jalen Brunson could average 35 plus in the series, they're crazy, and they haven't been watching basketball, because I believe that he can. Matter of fact, I didn't seen it enough, and it may be an appetizer, right? But you know, calamari and lobster rolls, sometimes they can fill you up before the entree too. So I didn't seen it.
Lobster rolls aren't an entree?
Yeah, they're my entree. They're my appetizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my appetizer list is a lot different than others, okay? But what I'm saying is, in the sample size that we done seen Jalen Brunson from his stint in Dallas to now in New York, even last postseason, right? When the Miami Heat bounced them, it wasn't because of Jalen Brunson. Like, he was going toe-to-toe with Jimmy Butler. Yeah. It was because Julius Randle didn't elevate his game, and R.J. Barrett didn't elevate their game. But Jalen Brunson, when it comes down to being a guy that I trust to put the ball in his hands, be a closer, being able to go toe-to-toe with another superstar, especially a guy that is at his position or on the perimeter, I have trust in that.
Well, and with Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that Mitchell Robinson could be on his way back, that is one step further to the Knicks getting whole, and that is exactly where they need to be, particularly in this final push for seeding in the Eastern Conference.
Hey, Wendy, great list.
Great list. You can read the full list
There's
right
like 16
now
more on there.
on ESPN Plus. We're going to go through the next 16 in part 2 of this. So that'll be coming on NBA Today YouTube later. For now, we're going to go grab some lobster roll appetizers. You can catch us at 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN.